Again there guys, just doing a bit of a video this morning on aftermarket head units and the wiring. Well, basically for all radios, if it's like factory or actually aftermarket, the wiring on the actual head units. So at the back of the head unit, if it's a factory one or aftermarket, isn't too different, but there's going to be quite a few actual plugs coming out, right? And so at the end of the day, when you buy an aftermarket actual unit, it should come with the correct cable kit to match those factory plugs, and they will convert that into the aftermarket unit. So normally the first time you do a car, you got to kind of go through and work all those out. Sometimes, even though it's the exact same plug, like that's a very common Toyota type plug, they change the pins around, so you got to go through and work it out. Then hopefully on the top of the head unit, this is one of our ones, you should have like a pin out. But at the end of the day, you've got three really important actual wires. You've got a ground, a B plus, so that's like a constant 12 volt, and an ACC wire. Now you should find that the B plus will be a yellow sort of wire. The ground's going to be a black, probably the thickest black one on the plug. This, for example, is a plug for one of our head units. And the red will be that there. So all that does is the constant 12 volt gives the head unit power the whole time, so it can sit in sleep mode and hold its settings, etc. The ground obviously gives you a ground, and the red ACC tells the head unit when the car turns on, and that tells it to actually start up and do its thing and start drawing the full amount of power it needs. So those are the three main wires you need. If you're putting a head unit like an older car and you're trying to work it out, a lot of the older cars had like an ISO plug. It looks like this. It was very common on older cars. It was basically standard across all the head units, right? And the pins were always the same, and it pretty much took care of all your speaker wires on one side, and on the other side you had a reverse trigger and the ACC, the 12 volt, and the radio amp power wire. So that brings me to some extra wires. You're normally going to have 8 wires are coming out for the speakers: front left, front right, rear left, rear right. They will be matching pairs. One will be green, and one will be green and black, white, sort of white and black, grey and black, purple and black. They are pretty standardized colors across the board. A bit like the other 3 wires we talked about. The ACCs are red, the B plus is yellow, and the ground is black. This is only on aftermarket units. If you actually look at the other color of the factory car plugs that come in the actual other wires, they'll be completely different and you won't be able to tell what they are. Then the other few important other wires are you have a reverse input and a brake signal and antenna amp. So reverse input basically is just 12 volt. When the car goes into reverse, that can come direct from the car, or it can come from the car's CAN system, which is the car's network. I'll explain a bit about that in a second. And you've got your antenna amp wire, which pretty much puts 12 volt down when the radio is on. This wire is used to give power to the amplifier that the antenna has for the AM FM radio, and also used on aftermarket units to turn on the amp, or even on factory cars if they have an amp to turn it on. And the brake wire. Now aftermarket head units normally have a switch. You can turn this off. It's just your wire that tells the actual radio that the brakes are on or it's in park. For example, if you jump in a car like a factory radio and you're driving along, you can't just go and add a Bluetooth new phone on, because it says, hey, you're not in drive, this is unsafe, we're not going to let you do it. And it knows that because there isn't any feed coming on that park wire, or break-in wire as they call it. That one's quite often pink on an aftermarket, the park break-in one. Reverse is quite often trigger orange and black, and the remote one is pretty much normally always a blue color, that antenna amp wire. Then pretty much all we normally have left on an aftermarket unit is about 3 wires, or it depends. Some head units are different. Ours have all the bits inside to deal with steering wheel controls, but you normally have a key 1, a key 2, and a key ground. Now this is how it picks up steering wheel controls, and it just picks up, so if you push the actual volume up on your car, it'll be 0.6 volt, and if you push volume down, it's 0.4 volt, and that's how it knows to learn extra different buttons for different things. So that really covers all your common actual wires. If you have a real old car, it could have an ISO connector, so you can just use an easy ISO like adapter. Or if you have like a bus or a truck, they quite often run that sort of thing. This one here actually has a 24 volt to 12 volt drop down as well, just for actually trucks and like buses when you want to run a normal aftermarket head unit. Something to be aware of as well, if the system isn't 12 volt, you'll have to drop it down. So hopefully that helps you like a little bit. At the end of the day, if you're just trying to get a head unit to actually work, you just want to find that like yellow, the actual B+, the red, the ACC, and that ground, and that should turn the head unit on. And then you can go and find the speaker wires and work out that, and that's going to give you all the base stuff actually working, and then you can sort of troubleshoot from there. Our kits will come plug and play, so you don't have to actually worry about that as much. But for example, here's a full harness here that has a CAN bus on it. CAN buses for newer cars, 2002 probably onwards, and then even some cars that are brand new now still don't have CAN bus in 2026. They are normally more simple cars. But all this does is there's two wires that run around the whole car, TX, RX, and they send different like signals down them, and this box can decode what each of those signals mean. Exactly the same how the network actually works for computers. So some of them have that. That's where it gets quite confusing, and that's why when you buy a kit you want to make sure it comes with the correct harness, because otherwise your head unit wiring is going to be a headache. But you can see here there's all these plugs, right? So we've got a plug here that actually does a few things, a plug here, plug here, plug here. So it seems like a lot of plugs, and that's why if you do buy a ready to go kit, it's much actually easier. And because not all cars will use these plugs, or sometimes the pins are in like different spots, so hopefully whoever you get the head unit from has worked out the correct one for the kit. So if I go through all these, you've got your antenna one here, that's the style that's on a Toyota. This is our big actual main cable. So in here we actually have our like yellow, our like red and black, so that'll get all that actually working. We've got, I can see there's some steering wheel controls coming in here, and like a reverse trigger, speakers, and that is just an idea how that works. Then normally like coming off your aftermarket harness, you'll have a camera actual feed, and that'll get your factory reverse camera working. So there you go. It's a pretty long chat just explaining the main pin out on like head units. Now they can be like different pins. There's obviously Kenwood, Alpine, Sony, blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, the wires will be the same. They like mean the same. Ours is a 20-pin one. Some of our models have like a different plug, but the wires mean the same thing. So if you are trying to troubleshoot or work something out, you can.